And we do science experiments by ourselves because we also love science. And one thing we started doing is I started a traveling science show, and we go to the different schools in the area, and we do science experiments with the students, and that's why I'm here today. So what we do in science is we look for changes, and when we observe these changes, we try to figure out why these changes happen. So we're going to look at some changes that happen today. Do you all know what atoms are? Elements? I'm pretty sure, because last time I came in, I'm pretty sure you all were learning elements. So what's H stand for? H. Hydrogen. And what's O stand for?
Oxygen.
Yep. And so when you have H2O, what do you have? Do you all know? Go ahead.
Water.
Yeah, thank you for raising your hand, by the way. This is the first class that actually hasn't just yelled out the answers at me. But what we have here, this is called hydrogen peroxide. So the chemical formula, instead of H2O, which is water, we have H2O2. So just having that 2 at the end of that O makes it very different from water. Water you can drink. Hydrogen peroxide you can't. You don't want to drink hydrogen peroxide. So I'm going to add this hydrogen peroxide into this container, into this chili over here. Now what I'm also going to do is, who all knows what yeast is? Go ahead.
It makes like your food and stuff rise.
Mm-hmm. But what if I told you that yeast actually was alive? You don't know that? It's actually a fungus. Now I'm going to mix yeast with some water here. Usually it's see-through, but I didn't have it with me today. So I'll just come to the center. I'll bring it around and you can see what it's going to look like. All right. So I'm going to mix this. You'll see. All right. So what do you notice about what I'm mixing here? Make some observations. Observations. You all know the scientific method? Okay, so observations are some things you notice about your experiment here. So give me some observations. Anything.
It turns yellow.
Okay, what did you notice? Yeah, it's cloudy. Any other observations you all want to make? I mean, we're trying to be scientists here today.
It looks like soy milk.
Yeah, soy milk? And what do you notice about this hydrogen peroxide? It's what state of matter?
Liquid.
Liquid, yeah. So notice they're both liquids. Who wants to put some soap in here? Anybody? Xavier. This can be more. Don't worry about it.
Don't want you, Xavier.
All right, put some soap in there. Let's use some Christmas colors. Go ahead.
Red.
Red. Now I'm just gonna make this. Just add some food coloring. Now what do you notice? Let's turn red.
It's turning red and blue.
Yeah, I think that has the. Yeah, but you know, it did change color. So who wants to? I'm gonna add this yeast into this. Who wants to come over here? Come over. What's your name? Yeah. Ashley. All right. So here's what I'm gonna need you to do. You can stand right here. I want you to pour this into the funnel and then step back. All right, keep going. All the way.
It's gonna explode on us.
Hopefully.
Oh!
Volcano.
All right, so what's some observations you're making now? Go ahead.
It's rising.
Yep, it's rising. Go ahead.
Looks like elephant toothpaste.
Yeah, elephant toothpaste. That's the name of this experiment. Who else has seen this before? You seen this? All right, go ahead. Yep, and does it look like the things that we put into it?
No.
I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it looks complete. Go ahead.
It seems like it's slower to go to the other side.
Let me switch that around so it doesn't look bad.
Isn't it really cold out?
Here, you come up here. Feel the bottle right here. What do you notice?
Oh, it's warm.
It's warm. So what we have here, you all know what a chemical change is.
Yes.
So you're all smart already. All right. So who can tell me what a chemical change is? Anybody? Chemical change?
I want to raise my hand.
Wood burning.
Yeah, that's an example. When you have a chemical, it's called a chemical. What we're talking about today is a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction it's when you put two things together and the result does not look like the things you put together. And so what we have here, it doesn't look like the hydrogen peroxide. But let me tell you all what the science behind this is. It's gonna keep doing that. So you can just keep going.
It looks like it's close.
If you notice at the bottom, you see the water at the bottom. Now all we have left. You see it now?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, what we have now, let me put that in there, is H2O, and that's just regular water. And the reason that this bubbled up is because the oxygen, which is O2, is rising out of the bottle. And the oxygen mixed with the soap, and it made soap. It made bubbles because when you put soap in water, you get bubbles. So that's a chemical reaction. And notice when what's your name? Reese said that it was warm. And what that's called, that's called exothermic. Now that sounds like a huge scary word. In this case, it's heat. That's why it's hot. So that's called an exothermic chemical reaction. Does anybody have any questions?
By any chance,